12:30, at least my clock is. So I will say good to see everybody, but it is time to call to order the oldest Lions Club in the world. So with that, I want to see, Mark, are you our Zoom host today?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you for helping us in so many ways. But can you take a moment and remind us about the Zoom procedures, please?
Zoom procedure is very simple. If you're not speaking, mute yourself. When you want to say something, unmute yourself. Simple.
Okay, and with that, we are ready for the pledge. And if you will see that you are muted, today we are going to be led in the Pledge of Allegiance and to the pledge to the Texas flag by David Mann. So we are so pleased to have David lead us today. So if David, if you are on, can you go ahead and I'll ask everyone to please stand as you're able, and David will take it from here.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now to honor the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Yeehaw!
So there are people trying to develop.
All right, thank you so much, David. And so we will proceed with our agenda. And here is where we have the pleasure of welcoming any guests that we have, as well as to say hello and thank you to all our members that are joining us today. But I mentioned a moment ago that Mem Ruby invited a guest, but Mem is not able to be with us today. So it is my pleasure. Mem asked for my assistance here, and it is my pleasure to introduce Michelle Pierce. Michelle, will you wave, please? There's Michelle. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And just maybe, would you like to make any comments concerning Mem, or you're joining us today for a special reason?
Thank you for having me. Mem and I met, we were workout buddies pre-COVID at the gym. We worked out together. And Mem knew that pre-COVID, I volunteered at the Travis County Jail working with women who were incarcerated. So she thought that this would be of interest to me, which it is. So thank you.
Well, yeah, very appropriate, and so pleased to have you. Do we have any other guests? If you will wave.
You might see Jill Gonzalez is with us today. She is going to be our speaker, and I will introduce her at that time.
All right. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for waving, Jill. And we'll get to
we
that
ask Tommy
part.
who his guest is.
I'm sorry.
Tommy,
Okay.
who's your guest today?
Tommy's guest is the cousin to the guy sitting behind you, Scott.
My guest today is Mustafa. And Mustafa joined us 2 days ago at a thrift shop. And he will be living with us for a few weeks, and then he's going to go to another Lions Club and visit, and then he'll be back here. So please welcome Mustafa.
All right.
Mustafa.
Yeah.
You should meet your husband too.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you for that special guest also for joining us. And I believe that is everyone. And again, welcome to all our members that are joining us today. All right, some announcements. And here's where I have a chance to do my show and tell. And this has to do with eyeglass recycling. And not many of you, not everyone, but many of you are assigned certain locations around town at either optometrist offices or grocery stores, or at church, at your church, or some gathering that you may be responsible for. So, and this is just a general review, and all our eyeglass collection, recycled collections, go to one person, one of our line members, and they go to Patty Robinson. So Patty, I'll see you on the screen. Can you wave so everybody can see you, please? Yeah, there's Patty. Okay. And Patty, because of the COVID situation and us not being able to do as much as we have been able to do, especially the sorting, there's a special way to sort out. And so I am going to, and I see on the screen, Leonore, thank you for showing the list of step by step how to sort, and I'll let you look at that. But the first one is remove the glasses from the cases. That's a big step. It seems like such a simple thing to do, but it's a big step. And then second step, discard the cases, discard the any glasses that may be broken or scratched or have missing lenses. Then so that takes care of kind of the major part of the sorting. But then we ask that you count the number of glasses that are in the box or in the bag or however you're bringing them and gathering them. And if it's a box, tape up the box. And there is a number that you can call Patty or text her really to let her know that you have that ready, and then the box or the glasses can be delivered to the Texas School for the Blind Visually Impaired main building. So I've asked Patty to kind of look over my shoulder here. And Leonard, if I can get back on the screen, I'll do my show and tell. Okay, so we're walking kind of, here's just a grocery bag, but inside I have already emptied out some of the steps. So here are all the unused or the separation of the cases, the glass cases. So I've got a whole bag full of them. And so these have to be separated from the eyeglasses. And then just use a little box. Either this is I think coming from Amazon, but just use a box. It says put the number on there. So I've put the number of eyeglasses on there, and not. It depends on where you pick them up, but here are some glasses that have a plastic cover on them. Not all of them will be that way, but these do have, a lot of them have it, but not all of them. So I have put them in the box, put the number on there. Want to show you one other box and just the size of it. This box has, can you see, showing 40 pair of glasses on there. And this is coming from my, where I have my eyes checked and examined. She does a very good job of putting all the glasses together. But just whatever your location is, I just wanted to kind of walk through this. And having done all this, Patty, have I left out anything or anything else you want to add, please?
I guess those little Ziploc bags that are your eye doctor that you pick up from are putting those glasses in. They may not be prescription glasses.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the recycling center will take glasses without a prescription in them. I've been sending them anyway. They can sort that out there.
Comment, they will take reading glasses that have some power, but if they're just clear demonstration glasses that the optometrist has in the office there to show and tell, no, they can't use those because they can't do anything with them.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't have a prescription. So I would suggest that we put those aside and maybe save them for,
Whatever.
I was going to say Sam. Doesn't Sam have a relationship with the optometry students that go and do eyeglasses in South America?
We, you know, who helps us with that is Shirley Dillman.
Okay.
Yeah, Shirley has made several trips that I'm aware of. And so,
But-
yeah,
but
so,
Still, if the glasses don't have a prescription, if they're just clear glass,
yeah,
they really have mostly no value to the program.
yeah.
I've got a question. The cases for the eyeglasses, if we've taken them out of there, I understand JP wanted the cases for some project.
I can use those cases, yes. Our church, when we have the Operation Christmas Child, one of the ladies uses the cases and makes sewing kits with
Oh,
needles and
Nice.
sewing thread and things in it, but they can't be damaged and they can't be tiny little cases, and they can't be those slide-in cases. They have to have a lid on them that open and shut. So
Yeah.
if you do have those, we would probably be able to use some of them.
I've been saving bags full of for you.
Okay.
Okay,
I have a
well,
Quick question,
yeah,
if I can.
yeah,
Sorry.
any other questions? Yeah, I think Steve has a question.
Can we expand the route? Because like the doctor that I went to get my cataract procedure, they're up in Round Rock, and it didn't look like they had any, and I have an extra box that I can use and bring and leave behind. I just wasn't sure jurisdictionally if that's running up against a different organization or club or what. So-
May or may not be, Steve. I would check with Shirley Dillman, if you would. She's kind of the ramrod of the Round Rock organization clubs,
Okay.
and see if they don't want to handle your eye doctor, that's fine. If they don't have the capacity to handle it, then certainly anywhere you can place a box is useful. But yeah, you don't want to go infringing on other clubs' activities.
Yeah. I wanted to make sure I didn't, violate any trade agreements or tariffs or any of that stuff.
No. And if you don't have ability to contact her, well, let me know and I'll give you her phone number.
Okay, awesome. I'll chat with you offline. Thank you, JP.
All right, great.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for those comments. Shirley sometimes joins us, and she may join us even later in this meeting.
Let's talk a little bit about those cases, and I'm directed to why the eyeglass recycling program cannot use the cases, and it's because of health reasons. The cases tend to have bacteria and they can't be cleaned. So the decision was made we won't accept any kind of cases for the recycling program. Seems a shame because when the people receive their glasses, they would like to have something to put them in, but nevertheless, it's health restrictions that won't let us do it.
Well, thank you again for that comment. Okay, so just wanted to review a little bit about our cases and the fact that the sorting is so important. And that means the separating the glasses from the cases, because I need to put in a word for the Leos. The Leos that Patty works with do a wonderful job of sorting in them, but because of our situation with the pandemic, they are meeting virtually as well, like we are. And so Patty is winding up with way too many glasses or too many eyeglasses to try to sort out. So if we can help her out that way, that's the whole purpose of this little time of reviewing how to do this. Okay, I'm going to need to move on and say this next part is about our Meals on Wheels that we did last Friday. Several of us were able to get away and get over to the Meals on Wheels office. And here's a picture of the group. You can see it was a nice turnout. We had about 11 or 12 join us. If we can see some of these folks, you can kind of see recognize some of the folks there, even though they're wearing a mask. There's Gaylord, and I believe Sally and Steve and Craig Estes and Robert Watson in this photo. And here we have on the left, Liz Baumgardner from the South Austin Club, who there are a couple of them that joined us. I'm not recognizing the person in the background, but Gloria.
It's Mary Lefebvre, also from South Austin.
Oh, okay, Mary. And then in the middle is my wife, Gloria, and then Judy Jones. And then I thought that
Polly.
was, yeah.
Polly.
Oh, okay. And so, so thank you to all of those that I didn't see John Niefler in the photo, but he and Sally were there. And so thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, there's John way on the left. Or no, maybe he's in the middle. Thank you. That circling arrows helps a lot. So thank you for all that. Anyway, thank you to all that joined us. And we'll have another opportunity for Meals on Wheels in February, on February the 19th. So we'll be talking a little bit more about that later. All right, then the last announcement I have is just a reminder to our board of directors and those that are have responsibility with the district. Our District 2S3 Midwinter Conference is being held this Saturday via GoToMeeting. And so we'll be meeting with Governor Gary and getting caught up and sharing a little bit more with the other Lions clubs in the district. Those are the only announcements I have. We have no birthdays this week, and unless we've missed someone that we didn't have on the list, but we are not showing any birthdays scheduled from our Lions Club members this week. So thank you very much for your attention. And now we're moving on to the next part of the agenda. And last week we talked a little bit about the virtual convention that is held. I mean, the LCI convention that is held yearly around June, and this year the convention is being held virtually. But there's an election that takes place, and it's an important election. And I've asked our past district governor, JP, to share a little bit more about the importance of the convention and the importance of this year's election. So JP, if you will, please.
Thank you, Rudy. Yes, I do want to highlight the fact that we have a candidate for international director from Texas that we are counting on being elected at this international convention. He's tried 2 or 3 before. Of course, you remember this past year, the Singapore election, Singapore convention was completely canceled. And as Rudy said, the convention that's scheduled this year for Montreal, that is June 25, 29, we just got last Wednesday an announcement that it will be virtual. Being virtual has some significant advantages for all of us. Many of us in the club have had an opportunity at one time or another to attend international conventions and know what kind of event and fun and activities and sightseeing and all the good things that take place. But the biggest part is to interact with Lions from around the world and realize that we're truly a part of an international organization. Some advantages for a virtual convention certainly are that we won't incur any travel expenses or lodging expenses or extra meal cost. And distinct advantage is that every club has an opportunity to send delegates. Many clubs around the world don't necessarily have that opportunity because it involves that physical travel. So a significant advantage this year is that every club, every Lion should have an opportunity to participate in this convention, and we're encouraging as many as possible And Leonore, from the secretary standpoint, aren't we entitled to one delegate for every 25 members at the international?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so we have plus or minus 100 at the present
100.
time.
Yep.
So we should, Rudy, have 4 voting delegate eligibility for this convention. And that is, again, a distinct advantage that hasn't been available to folks in the past. Disadvantages, of course, are there's no personal contact, no sightseeing, no parade of nations, no campaigning for our international director candidate. But it is still going to be, I'm sure, a fun event. The registration fee has been reduced to $50 for 4 days worth of virtual activities. And as Rudy said, this year, it's even more important that we attend and every club attend to cast their vote. TJ Tiarina is a past council chairman, a past district governor. He resides in the San Antonio area. His membership in Lions clubs is still in Del Rio, where his educational career was primarily. But TJ is a great individual and will make a magnificent representative of the state of Texas for international director. There are now, I believe, U.S. has 9 directors, where we were in previous years up to 13 and 14 international directors. So it's more important than ever that we have a good, solid candidate from Texas and from the United States to sit on that international board, determining policy and guidance and future conventions and all those good things. So that's my pitch for the convention, and for you to, Rudy, to assign 4 delegates from this club at least to join the convention, and anyone else who has shown interest or even had any passing interest in going to an international convention. This is your opportunity to do so at a very reduced cost, even though it will be virtual, but seem like we're getting pretty good at that virtual stuff with this Zoom and all other mediums. I don't have any information yet how to register for that $50. That has not been issued. It will be forthcoming, I'm certain, in the near future, and we'll find out how to get registered for $50. 42 years ago, Tommy and Ann Cowan and Moten and Martha Crockett and Judy and JP Kirksey flew on Crockett International Airlines to Montreal. And we had a magnificent time on the way. We had even a better time at the convention and enjoyed ourselves on the way back, seeing all the sights. It was a great experience, and I was privileged to be able to attend about 25 additional conventions since then. And I'm strongly encouraging you all to at least join in virtually and see what the convention's all about. Thank you, Rudy.
All right, JP, thank you so much. And we'll be visiting more about information concerning the convention as the information is available. So thank you again, JP. And we will be naming the candidate, the folks to represent for voting when that information, when we get more information. So thank you again. So we're going to move on because it's time for our program, and we're always looking forward to our program. And to introduce our speaker and the program, I'm going to turn it over to Mark Hastings. So Mark.
Yes, I am Lion Mark Hastings. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Jill Gonzalez. She is Executive Director of Women's Storybook Project of Texas. A neighbor of mine named Linda Cox invited me to a fundraiser a while back. And so being a good neighbor, my wife and I attended that fundraiser, and it was for the Women's Storybook Project of Texas. And it was very touching. The things that they do can really make a difference in people's lives, and both the children and also in the women who find themselves incarcerated. And I'm sure that Jill has lots to tell us about that. So Jill, if you go ahead and unmute yourself and go ahead and tell us about the Women's Storybook Project of Texas.
Thank you so much for having me. I was thrilled to be invited, and I absolutely love sharing about our program. You've had quite a variety of programs this month, I was looking at your calendar and you've learned about very diverse topics. So I'm thrilled to be asked and thrilled to be here. I'm going to share my screen and talk through slides with you. Okay, does everybody see the screen?
Mhm.
Okay, so the Women's Storybook Project of Texas is unique to Texas. We were started, our mission is connecting children with their incarcerated mothers through the joy of literature. We started 17 years ago. Our founder, Judith Delnig, is an amazing woman. She's still our board chair. And they started, she heard friends who had a project like this in Kentucky where they volunteered, and she came back to Texas and inquired as to whether or not there was a reading program for mothers here, because the idea touched her heart. And there was not. So she hooked up with a friend of hers who was a social worker, and they went to their church and got permission or got started an outreach to a prison, went to a prison, just called up and approached a warden and said, we'd like to start this in your facility. And their first time out was 5 volunteers and 25 books in one prison. And so since then, we've expanded to 10 female prisons, and we'll cover the other 2 post-pandemic. We'll be serving them through a letter writing program starting now, actually. When we go in non-COVID times, volunteers head out 1 day a month. We send volunteers on Saturdays, the 2nd and 3rd Saturdays of the month, to each unit, and the women come in, they're selected for the program, and they come in and choose a book for each one of their children, and then go to a separate room with a volunteer that's an old USB recorder, and now we're using some Sony digital recorders. So our technology has gotten better. But the idea is that mom reads to her child. After she reads, she goes to a computer room actually, and volunteers either upload her story, or if the family is not able to download, if they live way out in the country or if they don't have internet service, then we'll do a CD. But mom prepares the envelope for her child. Ours is a 4-month program. That's Judith Delnig in the center, the founder. And women receive a certificate at the end of our program. And this is important because they have earned their way into the program through 90 days discipline-free. They have to have established contact with their children. Their children are between the ages of 0 and 14. And they have to stay discipline-free for the entire 4 months. So that's 7 months without an infraction, and that's a lot of work. And so they earn this certificate, and then they can use this when they go to the parole board, or they can share it with their family. And here are some of our children with their grandmother and the books they received. We hear wonderful stories about children listening to their book every night, or taking their book and the recording to bed with them. It's so important for them to connect to their mom by hearing her voice. Same girls. So we serve, in 2019, we sent packages to 118 counties in Texas. So we're serving, even though we are located, our offices are located on Austin, and our service area is bound by where the state serves. So Gatesville, East Texas and Dayton, and a couple other locations, it's very limited. But the children, our primary client, are all over the state. Whoops, I went the wrong way, sorry. And also all over the country, all the purple states, because if mom is arrested in Texas, she serves her time in Texas. But that doesn't mean the children necessarily are able to stay here. So we served 35 children in 35 states. Our technology has evolved. We started with cassette tapes. Then we went to thumb drives and recording CDs. And about 5 years ago, our founder got in her car, her rental car, and there was no CD player. And she thought, uh-oh, we're in trouble. Because if there's no CD players, in the cars or CD players are becoming unavailable, we're going to have to change how we deliver this product. So you see in the bottom right-hand corner, or yeah, bottom right, last year we retrained all our volunteers in the use of the Sony digital recorders and then the process of uploading the file to a URL, to a Google folder. And then we have a piece of software that makes a URL to send to the child. So when they open their book, there's a sticker in there for them. And it says, this is Jody reading to Sam, the little engine that could. And then there's the website. Go to www.storybook.org/3427. And that's their unique number to get their story. And they can download that and keep it forever. This is our signature book, The Invisible String by Patrice Karst. If you have, especially during this pandemic, if you have grandchildren or relatives or folks that you cannot be with in person, this is the most beautiful story. The story is that the invisible string is love, and it connects us no matter where we are. So it's a perfect story for our mothers and children, and I recommend it to everyone. So our future is to continue expanding. We've also got a program called Strive, which is for mothers who are reentering society. And so it's giving skills for in-person literacy to moms as they're going home. Because depending on how long they've been away, they may not have those skills. They may not be ready to share, to do schoolwork, and that's a different life skill than they were using prior to being incarcerated. We also have started using research-based activities to enrich the program based on research for incarcerated parents. And there's 4 concepts of attachment, commitment, involvement, and belief. And so we used those 4 tenets to develop activities to use in our live program. Of course, because of COVID, the prisons are on lockdown and we cannot do our regular programs. So last year in April, we shifted to a program through the US mail and writing letters to all our mothers who are incarcerated and including a book request form for them so that they could request a book for each of their children and then write a note in their own hand. And if the note was short enough, we can cut it out and paste it in the book. If it wasn't, we would transcribe it. But that way, the mothers that we were serving were able to continue communicating with their child and sharing a book with them, even though we couldn't go record. This year, we have fully developed our WSP by mail program. So in addition to just serving mothers who've been a part of the program, we're adding new classes. So that's coming up right away in February. We'll have a new group of 22 moms from each prison. And we'll be writing letters to them every month and helping them send books to their children and let them know they're loved and missed even though mom can't see them. I'm going to stop this share just for a moment, and I'm going to start another one because I forgot to click enable sound. And then we're going to go to, where'd it go? Can you all see this? Mark, can you see this?
Yes, I can see it. If you can go ahead and expand it.
Okay. Okay, this is a video that a wonderful news organization called Freethink helped us make last year, and it shows you what the program looks like inside the prison. It's a very short video at 3 minutes, and after that, I'll be happy to take questions.
When you're at school and you miss me, your love travels all the way along the string until I feel it tug on my heart. As long as love is in your heart, the string will always be there. And from deep inside, they now could see clearly. No one is ever alone.
it's not always exciting when Storybook gets here.
The children of incarcerated parents are a neglected population. It's a hard, tough life they have. To think about them not having the opportunity to hear their mother tugged at my heart. Women's Storybook Project is a nonprofit organization that connects children with their incarcerated mothers through the joy of literature. Volunteers record the moms at the prisons while they read a story, giving a message, and then we send that recording and the book to the child so they get to hear their mother read a story.
I really enjoyed this program, so has my son Ellen, and it's just been so great to be able to connect with him through the book, and he really enjoys it.
Holiday time can be a difficult time. We see a lot of emotion. It's a very special time for them to have that chance to give a special something to their child. I'm Judah. Good to meet you. Alan? Hi, I'm Judith. I have a gift for you. And there should be a CD in there. I know that the children are really touched and feel a closeness to the mom when they get the recording. A child has a chance to hear his mom, to hear that he is loved, that the mom says, "I love you," and there's nothing that can replace that.
I have 3 children. The one that I'm reading to, her name is Carly, and she's 8 years old. I haven't seen her since she was about 11 months old. I love her. I don't ever stop loving her no matter what. It makes me feel like I'm not alone and she's not alone and we're connected.
I don't want my babies to feel that they're alone. Not a day goes by that I don't think about them. Everything that I do here is trying to better myself so I can come back home to be with them and stay with them, not ever leave them again.
So our program, that is our program. And we fully intend to go back to live service as soon as we are permitted by the governor and by the TDCJ staff. We are a very small organization. We have 2 full-time staff members, and the rest of our organization is all volunteers. We have about 250 volunteers. And so what the volunteers will be doing over the next months until we can go back live is writing letters and sending books from mom to child and helping to maintain that bond. So, and we are, Mark mentioned before that he found out about the Women's Storybook Project when he came to a fundraising event. We will have that fundraising event on April 29th this year. And like your convention, it will be virtual. So we have a short half-an-hour luncheon that the purpose of the luncheon, yes, is a fundraiser, but it's also to share our mission with new folks. So if you'd like to attend the luncheon, I'd be happy to have you sit at my virtual table. And if you know folks that are interested in this type of work, we'd love to have them join us as well. We also have volunteer opportunities, everything from inventory to writing letters to personal visits when they're allowed. And we're on social media. You can find us. And so I'd like to know if you have any questions at all.
Okay. If you have questions, just raise your hand, and Mark and Leonora, I'll ask your help to identify those that are having their hand raised up.
We have Mac, I believe, first, and then JP.
Hi there. Just coincidentally, last night I was watching a PBS thing. It sounds like, looks like you saw it. It was about incarcerated mothers and the bond between them and their children that go on. Sometimes some of these women had like a 15-year sentence, and, you know, a long time, and then they get out and maintain that bond. So great thing that you do. I didn't realize really what a great service. And so I just wanted to comment on that, but also, is there a similar thing for men, fathers?
Not currently in Texas. We've done a survey of programs in other states, and there are quite a few programs for men. And there's a pretty renowned one in the UK called Storybook Dads. They have a great website. I can tell you, we often get asked, why don't you serve men? Well, when Judith started this organization, her goal was to serve all the women in Texas prisons. Well, 17 years ago, there were not 12 Texas prisons. And so as we grew, the number of incarcerated women grew. And so just at 17 years, we're finally at the point where we think we'll be able to serve all the women's prisons at the level that we serve. And so we need to, as we go forward with strategic planning, decide, do we increase our service to the women or do we start to serve the men? It's going to be an interesting discussion.
JP?
Okay, thank you for a very enlightening and informative presentation. I was much impressed. I wonder if your technology is continuing to improve such that you might be able to add video to your audio recordings. Is that something you've got in mind, or is it feasible or manageable?
We would love to do video. I think it would be manageable. Right now we're using the audio digital recorders, but I know there are also small video recorders that we could use. Currently, they're not allowing that within the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. So I think we could definitely do it. It would require some more funding, but it would also require permission.
So the limitation currently is the ability to film inside the prison system. Then,
yes, sir.
Well, that may be a hard one to overcome.
Yeah.
Mark, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Glenda.
Yes. My name is Glenda Summers, and I helped with the when you had the Barnes and Noble
yes.
book selling. That was so interesting and so much fun. Are you planning on doing that again?
We will. We do the Barnes and Noble Holiday Book Drive every year. We are very blessed to be asked to participate in Sunset Valley. We've been with them for over 5 years. And then this year we added La Frontera in Round Rock. And so the project went the entire month of November and December. And this year we brought in over 1,500 books. And we don't purchase books other than the Invisible String. All our books are donated. So that's a really fantastic project. And we were a little fearful with COVID that it wouldn't turn out to be such a great book drive. And I think the response by the Austin public was phenomenal.
I really enjoyed helping them. I'm glad to know that you're going to be doing it again.
Thank you so much for helping. Yes, we didn't, the Barnes and Noble staff this year were super helpful because we allowed for scheduling of volunteers, but we had limited volunteer participation, I believe, because of the virus.
Gaylord, I think you had your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Mark. And let me just add that to everything else that's been said, that's a very moving presentation and kind of reaches the depths of our heart and our brain. Three questions just quickly. I guess someone that had to deal with a lot of government, I wondered how your working relationship developed and the complications you had and overcame them by working with the prison officials, that is the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. And secondly, I assume that the Storybook program really helps with the reunification of the child and the mother. And thirdly, do you run into complications with a family member or the guardian that is having to work with the child in connection with the reading?
So good questions, all of them. I've been with Storybook Project for about 2.5 years. And I've So the beginnings of the program were all with our founder, who was the director for many years. And she and her team worked very closely with wardens in the prison system, and then built their reputation upon their good work and the consistency that we have. And we come in, we do our program, and we leave. And we're very efficient and kind and respectful of the warden, of the guards, and of the whole system. And so by doing that, year upon year, we've established an excellent reputation within TDCJ. And so I inherited that, for which I'm very thankful. We do have some hiccups when there are staff changes, and you have to develop those relationships again, but we work through that. We do have a retired warden on our board, and that's very helpful, because we can call upon her and say, hey, we're having a little bit of an issue. Can you help us smooth the waters? And she does. Your second question, I don't remember what it was.
I assume the Storybook program helps with the reunification of the child and the mother.
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons we're developing these new activities, because initially it was just the storybook, just mom's voice, just the chance to connect. And we had some research done on our program that showed it did do that. It helped mom and the child connect, but it could do more. And so that's why we've added these activities where mom can not just write a note, which she'll do that and tell their child how much she loves them and say it in the recording, but she'll also have activities that lead to more conversation, that lead to attachment, commitment, involvement, and belief. And so we'll survey our moms after our program, and we hope to see a difference in their comments and their thoughts about their relationship.
And I guess lastly, you find cooperation with the parent or with the guardian that's responsible for the child in connection with the Storybook program.
Right. So largely no. We actually have high success rates with that because we vet the mothers. They have to have permission to contact their children. They can't be CPS cases. They can't be have a restraining order. They have to be absolutely allowed to contact their child. They already have to be in communication with their family. So 99% of our cases, the family, sometimes the family is reticent, but when they get the book and they hear the recording, it's often very healing, not just for the child, but for the whole family, because they understand how hard mom has to work to get into this program and to stay in it all 4 months.
That's outstanding, and well, good luck and God bless you. Such a moving, as I say, program.
Thank you so much. And we thank you, Mark, for putting the website in the chat. We have a website at storybookproject.org. And like I said, we're also on social media. We welcome volunteers, donors, board members. We're really, we're growing. And so we are trying to reach out to as many folks we can. When I came to the Storybook Project, I've been in literacy my whole life as being a teacher and a reading specialist, and then a nonprofit reading program manager. And when I read the job description for this one, I said, oh my, that's where I have to go. And I was so lucky to be given the chance to come here. But I often say we're the best kept secret in Texas, because unless you know someone who's incarcerated or unless you've been involved with the system, you don't have any reason to think about it. And so this gives you a reason, and it's a lovely, hope-filled program. So I'd love to have you join us. I'd love to hear your comments. My email is very easy. It's jill@storybookproject.org. So I thank you for your time, and thank you for allowing me to present. It's been my honor.
Do you have time for a question, Mark?
Roberto, go ahead.
I saw in the video there where the father and the child welcomed him. So I would say that it also united the whole family.
Yes, yes, sir.
So you want to talk about that? How?
It does. We've had many, many comments about how hearing mom's voice heals the family, because a lot of the women who are incarcerated don't have phone privileges. So really the only way they communicate is through writing. And so giving the family the chance to hear their daughter's voice or their sister's voice, mom's voice. And often there are children who are older than the qualifications for the program. So the child in the program may be 12, but they've got brothers and sisters who are 15 and 18. And when they hear mom telling the story and sending messages of love to that child and the whole family, it really has the power to change hearts.
Thank you.
If I could, and I'm not going to cry, but if I could hear my mom's voice again, I would give $1 million. I would do anything to hear my mom's voice.
Thank you.
Jill, I have another question from Ann Ward.
Sure.
Thank you. I wanted to see if you could tell us more about this letter writing campaign that you're doing.
Absolutely. So instead of holding in-person classes for the next 4 months, we'll be holding our program. We'll just be doing it through writing. So where normally our volunteers would sign up once a month to go for a day to prison, instead they'll sign up to write letters. So they'll be assigned 3 or 4 moms, and then we'll give a template letter that you can follow, but you don't have to write exactly what's on there. And then you will send the letter, a book request form, the activity for mom to complete, and stick those all in an envelope with a self-addressed stamped envelope and send them off to mom. And despite what people think, doing a handwritten letter takes some time. So three letters can take 3 or 4 hours because people don't write anymore. So we will be asking volunteers because we've got potential of 260 mothers every month. So that's a lot of letter writing.
Is there training for the volunteers before they do the letters? You have training?
It's the team leader will have instructions that go out with every letter writing. There's not really a training, but I would be happy to talk through it with you.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. There's a spot on our website to volunteer, and it kind of assumes that you'll be an in-prison volunteer, but there's a comment box where you can write, I would like to write letters.
Any other questions?
Well, I thank you very much. Or I'm sorry, Terry, do you have your hand up?
I had 2 questions really quickly. First, Jill, your program is wonderful. Are you also bilingual?
We are.
With your
Yes. Our advertising is bilingual, and we have Spanish and bilingual books available.
Okay. And so from your literacy background, are you also using this program to help get mothers more interested in learning how to read where there are literacy problems?
We have had mothers with limited reading skills before, and not surprisingly, a majority of our volunteers are involved in teaching. So they're really good coaches if a mother needs help reading when she comes in. The mothers that we serve are recruited through the Windham School District, so they're already taking classes. And we honestly haven't found a great deal of moms who can't read. There's some who find it difficult, but those we allow them to choose books and choose books the month before so they can practice prior to reading.
Wonderful program. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you, Jill. Yes, I'll add my good thoughts, and thank you for your very interesting, informative program, and so helpful. It's so helpful. So thank you for being with us today as our speaker. We've appreciated it.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all the good you do in the world. The Lions are exceptional. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. All right. Well, thank you, Mark, for that wonderful organizing and arranging that wonderful program. So let me go on and let's have a word about next week's program. And I believe Gaylord will be will be working with us on that. So Gaylord, could you tell us about next week's program?
Yes, as you may recall, we've tried to have speakers at the beginning of each session of the Texas legislature to let us know, inform us about issues the legislature may consider that are important to Austin, but also to us individually. And we're honored to this year have our new state senator, Sarah Eckhart, who was our Travis County judge, as you may remember, speak to us. And I want to thank Mac. Well, her schedule was such that we had to do some rescheduling. And thank you, Mac, as always, for your cooperation on that. But State Senator Sarah Eckhart, who has served our county now for 20 years before being elected to succeed Kirk Watson after he had resigned, will speak to us. And it will be not just the typical state issues, but some affecting us. As you know, the governor, if I could just mention quickly, has said that he wants to have a proposal that would impact the homeless problems in Austin. And he singled out Austin, as he has, about funding for our police department. So there's going to be issues that affect us individually and particularly locally. And I think we'll find it. She's a very bright, articulate, energetic person. And I think we'll find it very informative as well as interesting.
All right. Thank you, Gaylord. So we look forward to next week's program. There is one other announcement, or just a reminder, that this week, I hope you found in your email something about Fred Jenga. Fred, you know, was a member of our club while he was here in Austin and has returned to Uganda. And he sent some wonderful pictures and a way of being in contact with him if you're interested in knowing more about Fred or what's happening. And just look for that email, which I hope you received this week. And if you're interested, catch up with Fred and maybe send him a little how are you doing little email. So, okay, I believe that we are at the completion of our meeting for today. And I thank everyone for joining us, and stay safe, of course. I hope everyone has caught up, has had a chance to get their COVID vaccination. And if you are, Sandy, I see your hand raising up. I hope you've had your vaccination, you and David, as well as all our members. But everyone stay safe. We appreciate your joining us today. So with this, we will call this meeting to adjourn. So y'all take care then.
Bye-bye.